Hello everybody, welcome to WhatCulture Gaming. I'm Scott, joined by Josh.
Hello, Scott.
Josh, my friend, God of War Ragnarok, 4 words that mean quite a lot to PlayStation people, and turns out that it's leaked in regards to a release date, showing up on IMDb as February 5th, 2021. Now this, I don't believe this whatsoever, to be honest, as we'll keep going, but enough sites have picked up on it, it's going to be a talking point, and even if it's all, complete spurious BS, at least enough people talking about it forces more people to respond and clear it up in the end anyway. One thing that's given it a little bit of credence for now is that Mr. Cory Barlog, creative director on God of War 2018, did respond to the tweet, which was picked up by Marlin Gaming Nation, the people who realized that it was posted on IMDb in the first place. He did reply to that, saying God of War Ragnarok, never heard of it. Which even him sort of diving in at all, I mean, it's Mr. Barlog. He loves a bit of a joke. He loves a bit of a play around and everything. But even him getting involved in any capacity always legitimizes it to some degree, and allows people to sort of start talking about it. I don't think at all that they'll make a February release date. But what's your thoughts?
No, right? I wanted to believe, man. Like, I jumped in this with 2 feet because I saw Cory replying to it. I saw Alana Pierce replying to it. And I thought, if they're having a bit of crack in the replies, maybe there's something to it. Neither of them said no. But I think if you just sort of like look at the facts, you've got it's the fact that it's IMDb in the first place, which could be changed by anyone. It's the fact that, that would be under 3 years since the God of War 2018, which is just a mad turnaround. And I think that 2021 in general is already a mad turnaround. Like, I don't think anyone expected that game to get that date, even though, Cory Barlog and the team made great efforts, back in 2018 to say, look, we've got the engine up and running, we've got the direction we want to take. We're not going to do any DLC. This is not going to take 5 years or whatever, like the last one did. This is going to be a much quicker turnaround. But even then, under 2 years, I mean, the original came out in April, I think, of 2018. Yes. This is apparently set to drop in February. Even that seems a bit too tight, especially when you take into the fact that this game needs to be marketed to hell, and we're already in October. Somehow that would give them like 4 months to market the game, and it sounds a bit too ridiculous, even though every fiber of my being wants it to be true.
It would mean that they, like you said, they turned around the game in less than 3 years. And I know, like you said, he did mention after the first one came out that it wouldn't take another 5 years for the sequel to come out. That now they've got the engine sorted and they know what they're doing, and they've sort of reapproached Kratos, and obviously post-launch they know that it worked and everything, so they would be able to do it faster. But it would mean they have to factor in like the next generation. Like, they would have been, even the year that we've had, it would mean that they've actually worked harder during a year that meant tons of other games have been delayed. But you never know. There's always that you never know part of it. The thing that stands the most against it is, like you said, the marketing side of it, where Sony wouldn't, if they brought it out in February, then Sony don't have any sort of mass media events to capitalize on. There's the Game Awards in December, and that's pretty much it. They could do like a state of decay. They could do a state of play thing. Sometimes they're a state of decay. And they could put it out on there. But I think that, the February release date, as ridiculous as it sounds, like, it's, for me, it just doesn't hold up enough. Although I did have a little Google for the stuff that's planned for 2021 in terms of the first party things. Ratchet & Clank is penciled in for March. Not a specific date in March, but March in general. And Horizon Forbidden West is just penciled in for 2021 at some point in that year. But I mean, I don't know, like, on the Rivals side, you've got Halo Infinite apparently dropping towards the end of the year. So, like, the original date for God of War Ragnarok was towards the close of 2021, or at least in terms of like a vague window for it. So do you think that they would, like, even the idea of them hitting 2021 still seems crazy, but we're still getting God of War 2 next year in some fashion.
Yeah. To me, I'm fully expecting a delay just because of the year we've had and how quick of a turnaround it seems. But if they do manage to get it out for 2021, like, I don't think it would be much longer after kind of February, really, because like you said, we've got Ratchet & Clank in March, we've got Horizon to slot in somewhere, and I think it all depends on whether or not this is going to be a true PS5 game, whether or not it's going to come out on PlayStation 4. Because if it doesn't come out on PlayStation 4 and it has been built with PS5 in mind, you would assume that it would come out after Horizon, which is going to be a cross-gen game. So maybe we've got Ratchet & Clank in March, maybe we've got Horizon 2 in June or July, and then we have God of War 2 or whatever, God of War Ragnarok in the holidays. Like, that would be such a strong year, and I think Sony could kind of, pull off something like that. They've had big releases this year. I mean, with everything that's been going on, they still managed to drop Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2 literally a month apart after The Last of Us Part 2 was delayed as well, and then it just kind of like came out of nowhere, and it was like, right, it's coming out in 3 weeks' time or whatever, get ready for it. It didn't impact either of those games. Both games sold really well, and didn't kind of, they weren't negatively affected by each other. They weren't cannibalized by each other. So I wonder if this year in particular has made Sony kind of change its approach to marketing. We've seen it with the PlayStation 5 that, they held so many cards so close to their chest until launch, and now they're dropping them all. Maybe they're kind of trying to do something a bit different, where they're announcing these games in advance with a trailer and saying, look, this is coming, but then they're not going to show anything for a long time until it's nearly ready, so they have those release dates in place. Because, for better or worse, they have delayed a lot of games in the past, and while that has resulted in those games being better, it's probably not a great PR look or a great marketing look to announce all of these dates and then only have them pushed in the future, because then you get people like me on the internet saying, I don't believe that God of War is going to hit 2021, just not believing them straight up until you're really close.
The thing that's it's quite fascinating in media overall, and I'm going to use two really weird examples here, but I've seen a lot of companies experiment with, sort of saying something's going to come out and then it's out the week after, or it's out the day of, or whatever. That whole X thing is available right now can create a crazy swell, a groundswell of interest in something. Pokemon Go totally did it overnight, where it was just all of a sudden it was everywhere. Apex Legends kind of did it, and Avenged Sevenfold's last album sort of did it, where they just sort of randomly came in and just said, look, the stage, the album that was out at the time called The Stage, is just available now. Freak out, go buy it. And I think that, like I said, various sort of PR strategies have experimented in the age of everybody being connected more than ever, being able to access news feeds quicker than ever. Nudes feeds as well.
This is a PG-rated video, Scott Tilford.
I meant news feeds. But yeah, I think people can access that stuff quicker than ever. So I think if they literally just did maybe something at the Game Awards, if we legitimize this leak a little bit, they drop something, I think it's December 11th or 16th for the Game Awards in December. And then, they get to put something out, say God of War's coming in a couple of months, grab your PS5 for Christmas, and then they just get to capitalize even more on that crazy Christmas rush, with everybody getting involved in the nude feeds.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need E3 anymore. As much as I love E3, Sony doesn't need those big presses to sell games. They could release something at the Game Awards, then they could, like you said earlier, just drop 2 State of Plays or something in the build-up to that February date to build hype themselves that way. As long as the global marketing campaign has, at least a couple of months to get into gear. I think you are right that we're hopefully moving away from this sort of old hat idea that a game needs to be announced 5 years in advance, and then we just get CGI trailer after CGI trailer, then a release date that gets pushed back, and it's just so drawn out. And I don't think that helps more than a quick turnaround. Fallout 4 was kind of potentially the big first AAA game that really experimented with that, being announced and then releasing within the space of 6 months, straight away. It created a lot of hype.
Did Rockstar not do that with GTA 5?
GTA 5 had a longer kind of rollout. I know that had trailers quite a long time.
Maybe I'm just thinking of Rockstar are so close to their chest with stuff. Maybe Red Dead 2 or something. In my head, they announced stuff and it's out in a few months just after.
Oh, I don't know, because Red Dead, that took a while as well. That had a few delays. But I suppose maybe if we didn't get the delays, it might have felt like a quicker turnaround. But even then, they do sort of keep a lot of information close to their chest, even after they announced it. Because Red Dead 2, for instance, we had a few trailers and a release date, but we had little information until, a couple of months before launch. I remember me and you did videos about it, what the hell is going on with this game? Is it in trouble? Obviously it wasn't. They were just trying out this kind of... It was trying out this new strategy, and that might be something they're experimenting with come, the PlayStation 5, and I would welcome it, especially after the success, like I said, of Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us 2 this year. I think they've kind of hopefully transformed how Sony views how they sell games.
I'm super curious by it. I don't buy it right now. I don't think either of us do, but you never know. You always never know. And there's always a potential chance that you could have another God of War in just another sort of 3 and a bit months. But yeah, let us know what you think down in the comments below. Do you believe the leak for February, or is that just too crazy? For now, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com.
I've been Josh from WhatCulture.com.
And we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.